From October 14, 1962 to October 28, 1962, the U.S. was involved with the Soviet Union in the Cuban Missile Crisis. The U.S. learned that the Soviets had moved nuclear missiles into Cuba, threatening the safety of the American citizens. The next 2 weeks are marked by a period of high tension in which U.S. President Kennedy communicates with Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev multiple times discussing the ways in which to avoid the nuclear war that could be seen on the horizon. Throughout these conversations, it is agreed upon by both parties that the missiles would be removed and the nuclear crisis in Cuba is avoided. It is after this that Kennedy prohibits U.S. citizens.
Dwight D. Eisenhower introduced an embargo on goods to Cuba in the year 1960. And Kennedy expanded upon it following the Cuban Missile Crisis. This was economically crippling to Cuba because they had previously received 70% of their imported goods from the United States.
In 1965, Castro indicates that Cubans can leave for the United States of their own free will in his September 1965 speech. In the following days, Lyndon B. Johnson announces that he will open the U.S. borders to all Cubans and sign an immigration bill known as the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 into law, which allows Cubans with ties to U.S. citizens preference with regard to entering the country. In November of 1966, President Lyndon B. Johnson enacts a law that allows Cubans to pursue a permanent residence after spending a year in the United States. In 1977, President Carter reaches an agreement with Castro which allows diplomats from Cuba and the United States to communicate regularly and resume limited diplomatic exchanges. In April through October of 1980, Cuba faces pressure of thousands of citizens hoping to flee the country as it suffers from the embargo placed by the U.S. and a spike in oil prices which are straining the economy. Castro states that anyone who wishes to leave Cuba and go to Florida may do so from Mariel Harbor over the 6 months up.
However, among the Cubans hoping to escape economic hardship were 22,000 criminals and mental patients that Castro had released, whom he refused to accept back into Cuba. In 1982, President Ronald Reagan declared Cuba to be a nation sponsoring terrorism. During his presidency, he also attempts to further tighten the embargo restrictions placed around Cuba. Despite Reagan diminishing relations with Cuba, a significant change can be seen in 2001 when the United States exported food to Cuba for the first time in 40 years.
It is during the Obama administration that the United States is finally able to restore full relations with Cuba. In May of 2015, Cuba is officially removed from the list of nations sponsoring terrorists, putting a stop to the strain that had remained between the two nations since the Cold War. It is later in this year that U.S. citizens are once again permitted to enter Cuba. This is marked by President Obama's first visit to Cuba in early 2016, as well as the first commercial flight to Cuba since conflicts arose